Good morning and welcome to Saturday Morning Sketch. I'm going to make sure I'm up on my computer so that I can see any questions that you have, and then we can get started. This is such a fun sketch today, and I have you all wondering exactly what I'm going to do with this sketch. Because it's not like me to not to use so many photos on a page. So I kind of wanted to keep you guessing as far as what I would be doing. I just am taking a little bit of time to bring up on my laptop. I hope you're all having a good weekend so far and that you've got plans for the weekend and that you are going to enjoy whatever weather you have. Hopefully it's a really good weekend wherever you are. I opened the windows for the first time. Here we go. Takes a little while to get it up there. And it sounds like my sound is okay. So there we go. Good morning. All right, let's look at this sketch first and see what we've got. And then we'll go through papers. Okay, so I loved this sketch because, first of all, it's got your splattering built right in. So if you're ever wondering where and how to splatter, that is where you can do it. So they've laid it out for you. The other thing that I really like is that there is this straight piece on here, but there's an angled piece behind here. And it just pops out just a little bit, and I loved that. So we've got that. And then I liked all of the fun things up at the top, whether for journaling or whether you make your own tags. And there's just another, this sketch is from Page Maps, Debbie. It's a Page Map sketch. And I don't go on Pinterest much. I have my favorites that I go to, but no, this is a Page Maps. So I like all the little details, and I like this little strip of lines. And so I wanted to take a look at this sketch, and there would be different ways to do this sketch so that you wouldn't have to use 5 photos. I actually am going to use 5 photos. How about that? I'm going to do that. But I'm going to make this photo spot. I'm changing these just a little bit. I'm going to make this 3 inches wide by 6 inches tall. So it's going to take up some of the paper. And then we've got, I'm going to make this piece 10 inches wide, right across from here. And then, so we've got 3 inches of that 10 inches taken. Now we have 7 inches left for these photos. So I'm probably going to do a 3 by, because we need this to be 6. So these will be 3 by. 3 by, we're gonna say 3.5. We'll just do 3.5 and do all 4 of them the same. So do you see how you make this sketch all your own? So now we have a 10-inch piece of paper across here. That means I'm probably going to make this a 10-inch piece. That's the perfect paper behind there. If you have a piece of paper in your stash that you don't necessarily like, but it would make a good background, that's a good piece of paper for that. You can also gut out the center if you really like it, but I have something in mind for that. So from there, we're going to go with the dimensions that I've got right now, and we're going to pick our paper first. Okay, so I'll leave that to the side so that you can see it. All right, I'm using Lakeside Memories because I have some really fun pictures to use. And I love this sheet of paper, and I'm going to use this for the background, for this background right here, but I'm going to gut it out because I don't want to waste not a single bit of that paper. And then I've got some, these might also be good for, let's see what I have here. These might also be good for the background. This is actually the back of the Fast to Fab. And so this is really a good background sheet. So maybe I'm going to use that. We'll see. I like this one too. This is Fast to Fab. And so it's got different papers on the back. So let's take that one out as a possibility. And then we have this yellow, and on the back of the yellow is the blue. That's not really the look that I'm looking for, but I love that sheet of paper. So we've got ferns with stripes, and the wood green is the one that I was going to choose as the background sheet. That one that kind of angles out so I could get a little bit of that color in there. So I'm going to take out these 5 for now. And then my white paper is going to be my 10-inch wide strip over here. We'll move those out of the way. And I picked out some embellishments I might want to use. I'll show you the photos. I have to cut some of them down as we work. This was our grand doggy jumping in the water. He was so scared at first, and I kind of gave him a little push from behind, and then I just kept my camera going. So that's the second and the third and the fourth, the splash when he really went down, and then up shaking. So I'm going to use all 5 of these photos. It's just a matter of cutting them down to the size that I need. Okay, so let's get this other paper figured out first. I want to use that wood green as the background to get a little bit of brown in there because he is a liver and onion springer. Or a liver colored springer. So I might want to keep that in there. Let's just cut that and see what it looks like. So I hope everyone's doing well today. Did you grab the sketch on the page so that you can work along or make some notes? I'm going to cut this down to 10 by 10. So I'm going backwards and just taking 2 inches off of each side, off 2 sides, and then I've got a 10-inch square. And then I want my white to be a 10-inch square as well. So we're going to take 2 inches off of there. And 2 inches off of one of the other sides. So I've got these 2. Now here's a dilemma for me. The sketch shows this with rounded corners. I just don't round corners, you guys. I just don't. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that yet, if I'm going to try rounding these. Do you see how little of that shows? That's really a good amount. That's exactly what I want. However, I'm double thinking this background because I just don't think it's, I like that, but I really love this sheet. And I like that one in the background. And I think it shows, it's going to show off those pictures really well. Now, what I might do is round 2 corners, but I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to, this one will be on there straight. And if I did that brown or that darker blue for the background, I could do this for the background. It's got fish on it. So, or I could do this one. Oh, I like those better than the brown. Okay, well, let's cut both of those down to 10-inch squares, and then I'll be able to know. I'm not afraid to cut paper and then not use it, because I'll put it away for something else. All these 2-inch strips, I'll put them away. They make really nice banners, and we're going to be making banners on this page, so that's not a problem. Don't be afraid to cut your paper, for goodness sake. It's paper. We can get more paper. And there's always new paper coming out. Okay, now I've got a bunch of strips that I can use for banner pieces, okay? Now, let's see this one behind there. That one's a little crooked. Place it just a little more crooked. Oh, I like with it, some of it sticking out there too. Now, that's what that one looks like. Now let me see what this one looks like. I like the little darker blue on there. Okay, that one, the one with the waves, because it really lends well to that paper. So what I'm going to do first of all is grab some ink. Today might be a little longer morning in here, so don't be afraid if you have to go, but I'm going to do some inking along the edges. Summer sky is very light, so I might instead grab, the teal is too teal, the nautical blue is way too blue, and so is the, I might just grab this Toffee Crunch. Let's see, because we have some toffee in there, and toffee will make it stand out. Today too, I'm going to stencil because I want you to get used to pulling out your stencils. Don't have things so far away that you end up not using them because they're a pain to dig out. Do you know what I mean by that? If you don't have things within reach when you're scrapbooking, a lot of times, oh, that toffee was perfect for that. Okay, a lot of times if you don't have the pieces that you need out and handy, you're just going to either skip them or not do that technique. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to use your supplies, use your inks. put that one down there. Okay, even when I'm working on a flat surface, I like my magnetic board because I like having the paper still, you know that, and I don't have to washi tape it now. So, okay, that looks about perfect, and I'm going to put some toffee along here too. I want to put my pencil mark where this is going to end on the corners so that I don't have to fuss with that again. And then we'll get this. Oh yes, those of you that don't use tape like I do, you know me. Now I can't see my dots. Isn't that funny? Okay. I'm going to try that. And that doesn't have quite enough showing on that one edge. You know what though? I'm going to leave it and I'm going to alter this one. Because it's just a little bit that sticks out. Now if I had wanted to, I could have gutted out this, and I forgot to gut this out, but I can buy more paper. I could have gutted this out too in order to keep some of that. I needed to go at an angle a little bit more. The beauty of repositionable tape. There we go. So we're about the same amount of space from edge to edge, and we've got more of a tilt. All right. Oh, that's what I wanted. All right, so this is a 10-inch square, so that's going to go an inch from the top, sides, and bottom. Okay, that's really easy. You can eyeball it or you can measure it. And remember, your dimensions for this sketch do not have to be the same as mine. Not at all. I'm making it work according to my photos. Alrighty. I'll grab my magnetic ruler so you can see. And this was really a fun day. In fact, I told my husband on the way home, it was such a nice day. I said it was like a gift to go on the lake this day because the water was 83 degrees and it was just so fun with Chester. We don't normally bring him in the boat because if you know springers, you know that they don't handle the water very well. But because we knew we'd be swimming a lot, we brought him. And by the time the end of the day came along, Chester was just jumping in by himself. he'd jump in, and then he can climb up the ladder on the boat too. We've taught him that. Oh, for goodness sake. I can't seem to get my pin back in here. There, that should start it. I always like my corners to be down. Okay, so we've got just that little bit of ink on the edges that makes a really big difference. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I can surely see it here, the difference it makes. We're going to put a 6-inch photo in here, so I'm going to have about 2 inches left on the top and on the bottom. Okay, because it's more important for me to have photos on there than it is to worry about all the embellishments that are with it. So I'm going to do a little splattering, and for that I'm going to use Summer Sky. Gotta grab my paintbrush and a plastic bag. We'll do it, we'll mix it right over here. Don't be nervous, I do this all the time. Okay, and if I don't think that's enough, I think I'm going to grab some of this nautical blue and just put a little bit in there. So now I spritzed it with water. You guys all know the drill on how to do that. And that made more of a watery blue look. Yeah, that was much better. So all I did was like 3 taps of the Summer Sky. And then I did 1 half tap of the nautical blue. And I'm going to put this over here. What I'm doing, I want it to be diagonal. So there we go. And hit it hard a couple times to get a couple big drops in there. All right, now I can just throw that plastic bag away and spritz off my brush, and we're clean. Okay? It's so easy. You don't have to get up. You don't have to go to the sink. You don't have to do any of that stuff. I want a stencil too, and I'm going to grab my favorite for this kind of stuff, Splattered Elements. But I also like this new one, Festive Burst. If you haven't seen that one yet, I don't think I've put up my page on that one yet. So I'm going to just grab some of that Summer Sky ink. And I'm going to, hi Kim, hi Debbie. I'm going to put just a little bit of, you know, do you remember seeing those pictures now when I showed you? There was water splashed everywhere. So what I want to do is kind of mimic that. And I'm going with a light Summer Sky because it doesn't have to be heavy. It doesn't have to be heavy at all. So you see I have like this water spray. Now I don't know if that's going to be up too high, but if it is, we can always add a little bit more. And I'm not taping off this one because it's a really organic process, just to go right in the middle of the stencil and go ahead and ink. So there we have some splatters. I hope that you can see that. I'm going to wait on the camera here to see. Oh yeah, you can see it a little bit, but I'm going to lift it up so that you can see more. And you'll see that there's this little bit of spray out of there. Okay, now I want to cut my photos because I want to get those photos down in the place where they should be. Hi, Debbie. It's so nice to have you on here for the first time. I always love when people find me. Okay, so this one is 3 by 6. Turned out to be a good size for that photo because it was, you know, it was tough to grab these photos. I just kept snapping. And we're gonna go 3.5 inches wide on these. So I think I'll take 1/4 inch off of each edge. But I might be doing something else to these photos. So we'll see. We're gonna lay them down and look. All right, so 1/4 inch off each edge. I think I wanted off that edge more on that one. So I'm gonna cut this in half first. To print my pictures, I just used my Epson Creative Print in a collage to get my pictures printed at home. I wish I could say I was always good at getting my pictures printed, but I'm not, because I never know what I'm going to want. And so now we'll take 1/4 inch off this one. So these are going to be 3 by 3.5. Just the size that was necessary for that. Okay. I know, Chester is an absolutely adorable dog. He is quite the apple of our eye in this house. And funny. Oh, he's very funny. I just had to stop him a little bit ago from playing ball while I was trying to get ready. I didn't want you all to have to hear that. Okay, so 3. And this is going to be angled like that. Or it's not angled, but that'll be there. Now, here's what I might do differently, and I've got to put these in order when it comes time. I might cut 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch off. We'll see how much room I have. I don't want the photos right up next to each other. I want there to be a distinction. And so I may just cut that little 1/16 of an inch off. Okay, let's do that on the end photos, but first I've got to put them in the progression. So there he went off the boat, there he's going in, there he landed, but went all the way under, and then we've got him there, shaking off in the water. I'll never figure it out. Okay. So if I want a little bit of, I'm going to put this photo down as a guide. Because that will help me know how far apart. I just want a little bit of white space in between there to make a distinction in the pictures. Hi, Vicki, and hi, Janet. Oh, Debbie from Montana is here. Good, it's nice to have you. Okay, so how much do I want them to be apart? This goes quite off the edge. I'm going to take 1/16 of an inch off each side of these photos. And luckily the photo trimmer has those measurements, so I don't have to worry. Oops, I was at 3.5. So we're just going to use that trimmer to line that up, and it takes very little off, but I don't need very little. So really these photos are going to be 3 3/8 instead of 3.5. I'm going to leave them the same in height for right now. Although I'm thinking I'm going to have to take some height off of them too. But let's do one thing at a time when it comes to photos. We want just one thing at a time. Oh, thanks, Denise. I think that it's really good to take a minute and really choose your paper. So if we want these, now I've got to get the order back again. And if I have those, I need to take a 1/16 of an inch off of some of these, 2 of the photos at least. We'll see. Okay, so this was 3. Let's take a 1/16 of an inch off there. And a 1/16 of an inch off there. Now, let's see how they line up. This is worth the trouble, you guys. Now, think about this, the way that I had the photos sitting together. How I just had them next to each other. Very nice. You know, that would work. But if you give them a little room to breathe in between, you're going to be able to see the progression. And these go to the end here, so I can go a little bit further apart. Doesn't that make such a difference to have that little bit of white space in between there? White space is not just for backgrounds. It's for so many reasons that we use white space. And just enough of that burst, that festive burst is popping out of there. Just what I wanted. So I'm going to get this on here. And I'm going to white space, leaving that little bit of, well, let's do this one first. Leaving that little bit of white space on in between lets those photos really pop as individual photos and not just one big collage. Okay, that one's a little bit crooked. Let me see where that ends up. I may have to overlap or use my cutting knife. Okay, that works. So now we've got this one in here. Now we're going to go above, and it's 3 inches from the top as well. So I'm going to put my ruler up there, and it stays. I don't have to hold it. I love that. And let's get these photos on. Always, if you're looking for photos like this, turn your camera on live. And then you can duplicate the photos, what you need. Okay, Annalise, I'm going to look at your question. Your question is, do you line up to the front of the line, middle, or end? Oh, you mean up here? I guess I am not sure what you mean. Okay, now the last one will go in there. And I think I'm going to have to trim that photo down just a little bit, because it doesn't quite sit like the other ones. Where's my tweezer? I know we have a lifter. I am so used to, in my life for so many years, using a tweezer. You know, way back in the day, we didn't have such things as the multi-purpose tool and all that kind of stuff. So I just got used to using my tweezers for everything. All right, something is off kilter just a little bit here. I'm going to put it straight, and then I'm going to figure out where I need to cut. I need just like a little bit off of this one. Just like a 1/16 of an inch. So this is at 3 inches. I'm going to lift this up so I don't have to drag that through the adhesive that I have on there. There. Okay. Watch your hand under that blade. That's a sharp one. Okay. Now I feel like, now this one's a little long. See, I needed to cut these at a 1/16 of an inch too. So let's lift that up. Yay for repositionable. I use an Epson PM400, and there's an app with it called Creative Print, and I just put my pictures in that collage, and then I print them out that way. That way I can have different sizes. I also use my Epson Eco Tank to print. I just happened to use my 400 this morning, but if you have an Epson Eco Tank, that will also print your pictures beautifully and takes a lot less ink. Okay, so now we have this situation. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the cat. We have this going on, and we've got these striped borders, remember? I'm overthinking, Annalise says, but I always stop and wonder when measuring the line marking the depth. Do I use where the line starts or the middle? Oh, you are overthinking, my dear. But wherever you do it once, that's where you do it all the time. Is that a good answer? That's maybe not a good answer, but it's the answer I'm going to give you, because if you start at the where the line starts on one, you want to use where the line starts on the next part. I'm going to see if these look good there. No, I don't like that there. It's kind of not good for the... Ooh, maybe this is where I can get that little bit of brown in. Let me cut some... I'm going to cut an 1/8 inch strip, so it's going to be really tiny. But Now the 1/8 inch is the second mark on your cutting blade. Okay? And then the 1/4 inch is the end of your cutting blade. Okay, so I want to get 2 really nice 1/8 inch strips and see if that's big enough. If it's not, then I'll cut 1/4 inch strips. That one went kind of crooked. I need a new one. Okay, there it is. Now, like I said, if I don't feel like these are enough, then I'll cut wider strips. And I would leave them with a little bit of white because that's what I've been doing. I like those. I'm not going to put them down yet because when I put them down, I have to use Barely Art, the liquid glue, and so I want to wait and make sure that I want them there, but I think I do. I think that's really nice, and so I'm just going to go ahead and put them down. Throw caution to the wind, which is what scrapbooking is anyway. It's throwing caution to the wind. Little strips like this are so much easier if you use a liquid glue like this. And I recommend that glue for anybody because I think it's really awesome. And it doesn't leave a bunch of glue on my hands. Oh, that frames him perfectly. Okay, the one thing about Barely Art, if you end up buying it because you watch me use it in a video, it's the best liquid adhesive I've ever worked with, for one thing. Secondly, when something goes down, it doesn't come off. So you have to kind of make sure you want what you're doing to be where it is. Yeah, you know what? I think we all overthink. You've seen me overthink. I kind of had in my head what I wanted for this one. So it was a little bit easier this week, but you've seen me take things apart and start all over again just because of a different paper. Oopsie. We got a little lump in there, so I'm going to have to hurry or that won't come up. Okay, so there's that little brown to frame it off, which then complements the brown in his fur, his liver and onions fur. Such a treasure that my son brought home, and my son has trained him so well. So he's a good dog. All right, now we're gonna think about doing some other things. I've got this blue splash on here, which really goes well with the paper, and a little bit of burst sticking out. Here, I'll show you. So you can see that just little bit of burst is sticking out. I like that. That's a good stencil, you guys. You should think about that stencil. As I'm making this, I'm thinking, I don't know if I want all those tag-like things up at the top. I really just like the way that it looks now. However, what I did do was bring this border punch, Love, with the doggies. And I was thinking of putting that either underneath or above. But I'm going to need what kind of paper? I don't want that one. That is just too close to a match. Well, it is a match. I'm going to punch this and see what it looks like here. So now you know you open it up and you line up your punch, your paper with this line right here, because that'll give you a perfect punch every time. And then you line it up going over. Okay, so whether you're right-handed or left-handed, there's those spots on everything on this side too. So you can line it up if you go the other way to punch. Okay. So let's see if my little vacuum is not charged up, so it's not going to work. I'm going to take this off and tap it into the garbage. There. And one little piece of confetti left over. Okay. Alrighty. Now I'm going to trim this. Oh, I really like that. That would be nice to have something behind it though, wouldn't it? And it's not going to stretch for 10 inches. So that one really isn't going to work unless I use a partial. Okay, let's set that aside. I may use that yet. Let's see what I have for embellishments. Oh, enjoy the moments as they come. But I found this and I thought, oh, I want to use that. Up for adventure. That's our Chester, all right. And then lake life and go jump in the lake. Let's leave the stickers behind and go to some embellishments. Life is better at the lake. Jump in. Oh, I like that one. But where would I put it? I don't like the shape of it. That's what I'm having trouble with. And I like this stone heart. But I also don't know if that's going to work very well for this one. Now's when I get to do the fun part, just embellish where I'm going to go with it. And then of course if I put one embellishment on this side, then I need to put the other embellishment at a triangular look. I don't want to cover his paws at all, his little feet. And I've got this stencil out so that if I feel like I need some more big splatters, I can put them in. Or if I want to go behind something, I can do that. Life is better at the lake. I also liked these, but I don't think they're going to work on this page. So I think I have to go with smaller embellishments. I don't know if I'm going to use that here. This is the fun part. I think so too, Tracy. I think that really frames it off. It really puts a finishing touch to that. I'm gonna go with these two right now. And Tracy Babcock, do you buy Barely Art online? Yep, you can go right on Amazon. Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. And I only always buy the mini because you can buy the big one and refill the mini, but it's kind of a mess to do that. And also, it doesn't get clogged as much as the big one does, if that makes sense. It gets clogged very little anyway, but it's just nice not to have that clog. I would like to put a splatter behind there, but I'm going to get some tape and tape off where I don't want it to land. And then I want to tape off the top so that we don't end up with the splatter rings. And I'll stay within that enough that I don't have to worry. If you feel like you need the whole thing taped off, tape it off, because that will be better for you. Okay, I'm gonna really ink this up hard and I used Summer Sky again because it's enough to make the splatter, but not so much that it sticks out. You know, one thing I always tell you with stenciling is you can add more ink, but you can't take it away, unfortunately. Once it's on there, it's on there. You see how that splatter adds just what I need? All the little things. Okay. We're going to do one down at the bottom too. Yes, I think so, Christina. And that's why I wanted it there. That was quite a splash that little boy made. Do your dogs swim, Christina? Chester was having a good time that day. Now, just because I used that little bit of tape on there doesn't mean I have to throw that tape away. I can use it for something else. And look at what a difference it makes to add that splatter. And then I've got the ink, the paintbrush splatters, and I've got a little bit of that festive burst coming out. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm going to put these embellishments, something I don't do very often, right to the page. Normally I put some 3D foam, but I like this one right to the page. Okay, and then Up for an Adventure. Oh, that adds just such a nice background to that. I'm going to take this arrow off of here, though. I'm going to cut that off, just round off the letters. I can use the arrow someplace different on the page. I just don't want it right there. And so it's really super easy to cut these apart. These are the laser, oh boy, I hope I get this right. These are the laser cut embellishments from Global Getaway, the ones that are about, they say things, they have a globe in them, they have go see do, off the beaten path. It's stuff like that. So We have a lot of those embellishments. Up for an adventure. Oh, I like that better, to take that off. So now I'm going to put some Barely Art here. Oh, no dog paddles yet. Well, they will get there. It's funny because that day Jerry was on the boat and he said, I'm just going to jump off the side to see if he'll go that way, because he wasn't going on the end where the ladder is. And so Jerry just jumped off the side and just, Chester followed him. And it was after that that he decided that it was okay to do this by himself. Up for an adventure. Okay. I like it. And I can use this arrow on this page. Oh, I cut the little arrow thing off though. Oh, I didn't see that. Well, that's okay. I won't use it then. All right. Now I think these are kind of cool. This embellishment right here. These are punches that kind of stick in and out. Let's put them this way to see if I can fit. If I've got a, oh no, they'll just fit in there perfectly. With these frame punches, these little punches that make individual shapes, I usually punch them upside down so that I can see where I'm punching and make sure I get it in the paper and make sure that I maximize the use of the paper. Like I said, I don't know if I'll use them, but it's kind of a neat embellishment. No. All right, it was that quick to learn no. I've punched things and not used them. And but there is something that I need on here, and that's some twine. And I'm just going to do knots of twine. I'm going to fray this a little bit. Just a knot. Oh, I went quite a bit shorter on that side. That's the good thing about scrapbooking and taking your time. I know I'm a creative memories advisor, but I could never do a power class. And so I just am not that quick when it comes to scrapbooking. No, that's not true. I don't want to be that quick. And so I wouldn't be very good at teaching you a power class. But I can teach you how to take your time and to make your pictures pop out and to do all the things like that and to pick your embellishments, because I think that's equally as important. I also am a journaler, so I want to always have time to journal. So I'm using a glue dot up there, and I'm going to put this little fray of twine right up there. And then I'm going to see if I need one down here. All right. I think too, when we scrapbook, we really have to be happy with what our finished page is. Sometimes life does call for us to go quick, and we just need to get the pages done. But that to me constitutes a scrapbooking emergency. And I don't know if there are scrapbooking emergencies, because if I live to be 150, I'm not going to get everything done. And so maybe, you know, I know a lot of people say I have so much to do, I have to get it done. And we do develop an urgency as we get older. We definitely do develop urgency. But so far, that urgency hasn't made me scrap any faster, because I just love the process so much that I want to take my time with it. Now let's put that one down there. So we're keeping our clusters right up in one corner and angled off to the other. I don't really want a lot more embellishments on here because I don't want to take away from those photos and that story. There's a big story on this page, and it may not seem like a big story to anybody else, but it's a big story to us, and it was a big story to Shane when we came home and told him how Chester learned and just kept going. And he'd paddle up and go up on the steps of the boat and get back in the boat and then jump back down. And that's a huge story. Now I could do a lot more. I could do some more punches and banners and things like that. And I think that I'm really settled with this page, just like this. And a page lets you know when it's done. If you step back and look at it and say, oh yeah, that's enough, then you know you've done enough. It's not really important to add more sometimes. We're gonna do some of these little blue dots from the Floral Embellishments. And, or would I have liked the light blue? Oh, I would have liked the light blue, so I'm going to take this one off. I'm going to take these two off and put this light blue right there. And when I tell the story on this page, and you'll see me write the story before I post it, I will have it on there. So when this layout is done, you'll see the story that I write. But it's not just about Chester jumping in the water. It's about so much more about that day. When I say that day was truly a gift, it was a gift. And I want to tell the story of that day. I think it is too, Cindy. I think that it's done because I'm going to have a lot to say right in this little space. I might have to type it in order to get it all in, or I'm definitely going to have to make some journaling lines to fit it all in. And I love it. I love it. I absolutely am very happy with this page. And there isn't another thing that I have here that I would add to it, because it just tells the progression of a jump. And so maybe that would have been a good title, The Progression of a Jump. But I'm going to leave it just like this, and I'm going to go off camera now and do my journaling, and then later on you will find this video and this page I'll put up on my business page here, right where you are right now. And then the video will be up on my YouTube channel, and I'll give you that link as soon as it uploads. So for now, that's me. It's done, and I love it, and I'm happy with it, and I love this dog. So you guys have a great day and have so much fun the next time you scrapbook. And just sit down with something like this, not quite knowing what you're going to do, but maybe taking a sketch and learning some of the tips that I gave along with this, like the leaving the white space in between, because That is so important for a page. And then thinking about what this all meant to, I know to the naked eye, it might look like a dog jumping in the water. It was really kind of a monumental day for Chester. And I think that those are the stories we have to tell. So you have a good day. Go create. It really feeds your soul and makes everything about you so much better when you create. Have a great weekend, you guys. Talk to you soon.